What's up, everybody? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button to the Hoops Tonight YouTube channel, and then follow me on social media on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter so you guys don't miss any of our content over the course of this season. All right, let's talk some basketball. All right, let's move on to the WNBA. So we got ourselves a classic Rookie of the Year battle. Both players are just exchanging dominant games. Angel Reese is just like good consistently for 17-ish points and 14-ish rebounds every single night. She's put together the longest streak of double-doubles by a rookie in WNBA history, breaking the record of Candace Parker, right? And Caitlin Clark's coming right back at her. She goes for the first triple-double ever by a WNBA rookie in a really fun game against the New York Liberty. Took over that game late, too. They were down 6 with 3.5 minutes left, and she had a driving and one bank shot on the right side of the floor to bring it to 3. Then she had a transition kick-ahead pass for a wide-open 3 that tied the game. Caitlin was just unbelievable in that game as they got a huge win against the New York Liberty. And so now we have this debate, right? And there's a lot of people saying Angel Reese should win Rookie of the Year. A lot of people saying Caitlin Clark. But Vegas, or more specifically DraftKings, sees it as very much Caitlin Clark's race to lose. She, on DraftKings right now, is minus 500 to win Rookie of the Year, and Angel Reese is plus 300. It's a pretty massive gap. It's not unclosable. But what that means is if the season ended today, there would be no debate. Caitlin Clark would be Rookie of the Year. And I agree. I think Caitlin Clark is clearly the Rookie of the Year at this point. And this is where we have to get into the difference between roles. And again, there's going to be a lot of talk about counting stats, especially because Angel Reese is putting up some incredibly dominant box score numbers, right? Angel Reese is dominating games as an athlete. She's a super disruptive defender, just putting up crazy block steal counts every single game. She's a wrecking ball on the glass on both ends of the floor. Even her rim finishing is trending up, which was one of the biggest rubs on her early on in the year, right? Like I mentioned earlier, you can just count on her to give you, in the mid-teens in points and mid-teens in rebounds every single night, right? And there's a ton of value that comes from that. But what Caitlin Clark is doing is she's functioning as an offensive engine, which is a very different type of role. And the box score numbers show it, for the record. In their last 5 games, the Indiana Fever are averaging 30 made field goals per game. Caitlin Clark is either scoring or assisting 16 of those 30 made field goals every single game. So either her putting the ball in the basket or passing to the person who put the ball in the basket, more than half their offense in the last couple of weeks. But that doesn't even come close to capturing the real impact of Caitlin Clark in this offense. Because her main goal, the main thing she's doing, and the reason why the Indiana offense has turned around and they've started winning, they've won 8 of their last 13 games. The reason this has turned around is she is primarily focusing on getting the defense in rotation. They're using her a lot in off-ball movement as a decoy. They're doing a lot of really fun stuff to help her beat ball pressure, where teams are picking her up full court and forcing her into some turnovers. Now she's doing a lot of give and go stuff right around half court, where she'll make a quick move against the ball pressure and then throw the ball up to Aaliyah Boston at half court, and then she'll quick cut off of it and get a dribble handoff and get downhill, and then she'll spin and go right back into a ball screen the other way. She's putting teams in the blender early on, and it's generating all of these short roll opportunities for Aaliyah Boston and Nalissa Smith, and they're benefiting off of it, rolling to the rim when teams are tagging them. Caitlin's making the kick out passes. In general, between hockey assists and just getting the defense in rotation and them capitalizing on the chaos, the box score has her accounting for more than half of the offense. In reality, it's 2/3 to almost 75% of the offense from Indiana that is being generated off of attention that Caitlin Clark is drawing. And this is where I want to get back to what I was talking about earlier when we were talking about Joel Embiid and Anthony Davis. If you're building a basketball team, the hardest thing to replicate is who's the generator of your offense. That is why Joel Embiid is a better basketball player than Anthony Davis. AD is a better fit with USA basketball because they just need these specific role player things. AD is the guy that goes out there and puts up, 26 and 17 all the time, right? But as we're looking at Joel Embiid, he's the guy that can be the fulcrum of a high-level offense. Anthony Davis has not demonstrated that. With defense, you can address that as a team with lineup construction and attention to detail within your scheme. With rebounding, you can address that with lineup construction. Just put more size and athleticism on the floor. Even with Angels finishing around the rim, which is of value, look at all of the quality rim attempts that Alyssa Smith and Aaliyah Boston are getting because of Caitlin Clark consistently bringing their defender up to the level of the screen. That can be made up for through what Caitlin Clark brings to the table. So again, like, all of the stuff that Angel Reese is doing is incredibly valuable and incredibly important, but it is incredibly difficult to replicate what Caitlin Clark is doing for the Indiana Pacers, the Indiana Fever. What she is doing as a rookie in the WNBA is putting an entire offense on her shoulders and consistently generating quality shots. And the results have been amazing. They have the 6th best offensive. This is a crazy stat. So in their first 9 games, they went 1-8. They were the 2nd worst offense in the league, in large part because they were just using Caitlin like a normal player. Right around 13 games ago, they started actually using Caitlin the way they needed to, which is using her as an offensive engine, using her as Steve Nash crossed with Steph Curry. And as a result, their offense has taken off. Since June 1st, 8-5, they've climbed all the way up to the 7 seed, and they have the 6th best offensive rating in the league in that span. So they went from the 2nd worst offense in the league to a top half offense in the league by leaning into Caitlin Clark as their offensive engine. She's putting teams in the blender. Everyone is benefiting from it. And again, that doesn't have anything to do with Angel Reese. It's not that she's not doing enough, so to speak. Any other year, she'd be worthy of Rookie of the Year. But this is an all-time great WNBA prospect in Caitlin Clark, who's playing some special basketball and doing the most important thing that an NBA team or a basketball team can get out of an offensive player, which is just consistently generating quality shots. I think she deserves to win the award. And again, it's not over if Angel Reese, continues to put up 17 and 14 every night and Caitlin Clark tails off hard or gets hurt. Then Angel Reese will jump in and get that. That's why she's at plus 300, which is a reasonable number. But Caitlin Clark is the favorite for a reason. She is the more valuable basketball player. It is easier to build a good basketball team around her skill set and what she brings to the table. It is the most valuable type of player in the league. That's why when I look at the NBA, who are the 2 best players right now? Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic. Why? Offensive engines. All the things that Jason Tatum and Anthony Davis and the better athletes bring to the table, they can be replaced by role players in a way that what an offensive engine cannot do. And that's why I have Caitlin Clark as the Rookie of the Year at this point.